session of the Senate in the second regular session of the 17th Congress is hereby called to order. Let us all observe a minute of silent prayer. Amen. Secretary, please call the roll.
Roll call of members. The Honorable Senators Angara, Aquino, Binay, De Lima, Drilon, Ejercito, Escudero, Gatchalian, Gordon, Honasan, Hontiveros, Lacson, Ligarda, Pacquiao, Pangilinan, Po, Recto, Soto, Trillanes, Villanueva, Villas, Riveri, Senate President Pimentel.
Is Gordon present? With 18 senators present, the chair declares the presence of a quorum. Majority Leader.
Mr. President, I am now the acting Majority Floor
Okay,
Leader
so
with the
make it
permission of our Majority Floor Leader. Mr. President, I move that we dispense with the reading of the journals of the 9th session, Monday, August 14, 2017, and the 11th session, Wednesday, August 16, 2017, and consider them approved. I so move, Mr. President.
There's a motion to dispense with the reading of 2 journals and consider this as approved. Any objection? Hearing none, the motion is approved.
Mr. President, requested by the Majority Floor Leader and some of the members, before we proceed with the reference of business while we have a quorum, Mr. President, I move to consider for third reading the following House bills, all pertaining to broadcasting franchise in various parts of the country. This is House Bill number 5176 under Committee Report numbers 96, House Bill 4636 under Committee Report number 95, House Bill 5063 under Committee Report number 89, House Bill 5211 under Committee Report number 94, House Bill 5175 under Committee Report number 93, House Bill 5212 under Committee Report number 90, House Bill 5064 under Committee Report number 91, and House Bill 5177 under Committee Report number 92. I so move, Mr. President.
Any objection? The motion is to consider the aforementioned bills on third reading, but we will vote on them one by
Individually.
one,
Yes, Mr.
individually.
May we request,
So,
Mr. President?
any objection to the omnibus motion? Hearing none, the motion is approved.
Thank you, Mr. President. May we request the Secretary to read the short titles of the measure?
Secretary, please do so.
House Bill number 5176, Saraga Integrated and Management Corporation Broadcasting Stations. House Bill number 4636, Iloilo Baptist Church Incorporated Broadcasting Stations. House Bill number 5063, the Pangasinan Gulf Waves Network Corporation Broadcasting Stations. House Bill number 5211, Gateway UHF Television Broadcasting Inc. House Bill number 5175, Beta Broadcasting Corporation. House Bill number 5212, Filipinas Broadcasting Association Inc. House Bill number 5064, Subic Broadcasting Corporation. House Bill number 5177, Infocom Communications Network Inc.
Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, printed copies of the measure were distributed last August 17, 2017, thereby complying with the 3-day rule. I therefore move the vote on third and final reading. I will do it individually, Mr. President. Third and final reading, House Bill number 5176 under Committee Report number 96.
Any objection? Hearing none, motion is approved. Secretary, please conduct the roll call vote.
The Honorable Senators Angara, Aquino, Binay, De Lima, Drilon, Ejercito, Escudero, Gatchalian, Gordon, Honasan, Monteveros, Lacson, Ligarda, Pacquiao, Pangilinan, Po, Recto, Soto, Trillanes, Villanueva, Villar, Subiri, Senate President Pimentel.
With 17 affirmative votes, 0 negative vote, House Bill number 5176 is approved on third reading.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, printed copies of House Bill number 4636 were also distributed August 17, 2017. Complying with the 3-day rule, therefore, I move the vote on third and final reading, House Bill number 4636, and ask for a roll call vote.
Any objection? Hearing none, motion is approved. Secretary, please.
The Honorable Senators Angara, Aquino, Binay, De Lima, Drilon, Ejercito, Escudero, Gatchalian, Gordon, Honasan, Monteveros, Lacson, Ligarda, Pacquiao, Pangilinan, Po, Recto, Soto, Trillanes, Villanueva, Villar, Subiri, Senate President Pimentel.
With 16 affirmative votes, 0 negative vote, House Bill number 4636 is approved on third reading.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, printed copies of House Bill number 5063 were also distributed on August 17, therefore complying with the 3-day rule. I therefore move the vote on third and final reading, House Bill 5063 through a roll call vote. I so
Any
move.
objection? Hearing none, motion is approved. Secretary, please.
The Honorable Senators Angara, Aquino, Binay, De Lima, Drilon, Ejercito, Escudero, Gatchalian, Gordon, Honasan, Monteveros, Lacson, Ligarda, Pacquiao, Pangilinan, Po, Recto, Soto, Trillanes, Villanueva, Villar, Subiri, Senate President Pimentel.
With 16 affirmative votes, 0 negative vote, House Bill number 5063 is approved on third reading.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, printed copies as well of House Bill 5211 have been distributed last August 17, and therefore we comply with the 3-day rule. I therefore move the vote on third and final reading, House Bill number 5211 through a roll call vote. I so move.
Any objection? Hearing none, motion is approved. Go ahead, sir. Secretary.
The Honorable Senators Angara, Aquino, Binay, De Lima, Drilon, Ejercito, Escudero, Gatchalian, Gordon, Honasan, Monteveros, Lacson, Ligarda, Pacquiao, Pangilinan, Po, Recto, Soto, Trillanes, Villanueva, Villar, Subiri, President Pimentel.
With 16 affirmative votes, 0 negative vote, House Bill number 5211 is approved on third reading.
Thank you, Mr. President. As well as House Bill number, I move, Mr. President, I move that we also vote on third and final reading, House Bill number 5175, of which the 3-day rule has been complied with the printed copies of the measure distributed last August 17. And I move that we do it this a roll call vote, Mr. President.
Any objection? Hearing none, motion is approved. Secretary.
The Honorable Senators Angara, Aquino, Binay, De Lima, Drilon, Ejercito, Escudero, Gatchalian, Gordon, Honasan, Monteveros, Lacson, Ligarda, Pacquiao, Pangilinan, Po, Recto, Soto, Trillanes, Villanueva, Villar, Subiri, Senate President Pimentel.
16 affirmative votes, 0 negative vote, House Bill number 5175 is approved on third reading.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, to continue, printed copies as well have been distributed of House Bill number 5212 last August 17, complying with the 3-day rule. So I therefore move the vote on third and final reading, House Bill number 5212 through a roll call vote. I so move, Mr. President.
Any objection? Hearing none, approved.
The Honorable Senators Angara, Aquino, Binay, De Lima, Drilon, Ejercito, Escudero, Gatchalian, Gordon, Honasan, Hontiveros, Lacson, Ligada, Pacquiao, Pangilinan, Po, Recto, Soto, Trillanes, Villanueva, Villar, Subiri, Senate President Pimentel.
With 16 affirmative votes, 0 negative vote, House Bill number 5212 is approved on third reading.
Thank you, Mr. President. House Bill 5064 as well has complied with the three-day rule being distributed last August 17. I therefore move, Mr. President, to vote on third and final reading, House Bill number 5064.
Any objection? Hearing none, approved. Secretary, please conduct the roll call vote.
The Honorable Senators Angara, Aquino, Binay, De Lima, Drilon, Ejercito, Escudero, Gatchalian, Gordon, Honasan, Ontiveros, Lacson, Ligada, Pacquiao, Pangilinan, Po, Recto, Soto, Trillanes, Villanueva, Villar, Subiri, Senate President Pimentel.
With 16 affirmative votes, 0 negative vote, House Bill number 5064 is approved on third reading.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, House Bill number 5177 also had complied with the three-day rule after distributing the said measure on August 17. I therefore move to vote on third and final reading, House Bill number 5177. I so move, Mr. President.
Any objection? Hearing none, approved. Secretary, please.
The Honorable Senators Angara, Aquino, Binay, De Lima, Drilon, Ejercito, Escudero, Gatchalian, Gordon, Honasan, Hontiveros, Lacson, Ligada, Pacquiao, Pangilinan, Po, Recto, Soto, Trillanes, Villanueva, Villar, Subiri, Senate President Pimentel.
With 17 affirmative votes, 0 negative vote, House Bill number 5177 is approved on third reading.
Thank you.
Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, of course, with the permission of the body, I also would like to move for the consideration of third reading, SB number 1311 under Committee Report number 33. I so move, Mr. President.
Any objection? Hearing none, the motion is approved.
May I request the Secretary to read the title of the measure. Mr.
An
President.
act amending Republic Act number 9485, otherwise known as the Anti-Red Tape Act of 2007, creating for the purpose the Business Anti-Red Tape and Competitiveness Bureau and for other purposes.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, printed copies of the measure were distributed last August 17 in 2017, thereby complying with the three-day rule. I therefore vote or move to vote on third and final reading, SB number 1311 through a roll call vote. I so move, Mr. President.
Is there any objection? Senator Aquino? No?
One more.
There being none, a motion is approved.
Thank you, Mr.
Secretary,
President.
please, roll call vote.
The Honorable Senators Angara, Aquino, Binay, De Lima, Drilon, Ejercito, Escudero, Ejercito, Escudero, Gatchalian, Gordon, Honasan, Hontiveros, Lacson, Ligarda, Pacquiao, Pangilinan, Po, Recto, Soto, Trillanes, Villanueva, Villar, Subiri, Senate President Pimentel.
Thank you.
With 17 affirmative votes, 0 negative vote, Senate Bill number 1311 is approved on third reading.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, and congratulations to all of us for passing 8 measures today on third and final reading. Mr. President, before we recognize Senator Bamakino, who would like to deliver a privileged speech, we'd like to recognize his guests. Students from Our Lady of Lourdes College of Valenzuela City are here with us today, Your Honor. Mr. President, I move to recognize Senator...
Welcome to our guests.
They are classmates of Kian de los Santos, Mr. President. So, Mr. President, I'd like to move for the recognition of Senator Paulo Benigno Aquino IV for his privilege motion, Mr. President, his speech.
Senator Aquino is recognized to speak on a matter of public interest.
Maraming salamat, Acting Majority Floor Leader, Mr. President. Ian, isara mo na ang tindahan at matulog ka na. Kung alam lang po sana ni Lola Violeta na iyan ang huling masasabi niya sa kanyang apo, siguro po iba ang nabigkas niya. Bumaba po si Ian upang isara ang sari-sari store ng pamilya at naglinis muna bago matulog. Kung alam lang po sana ni Ian kung anong tadhana ang nag-aantay sa kanya, siguro po di na siya nagkusang loob. Mr. President, dear colleagues, as someone who has worked in the youth sector for more than a decade, and as someone who, like all of us here, pushed for more access to education for our Filipino youth, the unnecessary death of Ian de los Santos was difficult to accept. Nung nabalitaan ko po na sa Oplan Galugad ng PNP, may grade 11 student na kitang-kita naman sa CCTV footage na kinaladkad patungong isang sulok at pinatay na walang pakundangan. Nanghina po ang aking loob at napaisip ako. Paano tayo umabot sa ganito? Ito na po ba ang new normal ng ating bansa, especially po sa mga mahihirap na barangay sa ating bayan? Many of us here surely felt the same way. Marami po sa mga kababayan natin ang una nalungkot at pagkatapos nagalit sa nangyari kay Ian at sa kanyang pamilya. Kian Lloyd de los Santos, better known as Ian to his friends, is a 17-year-old grade 11 student from Our Lady of Lourdes Senior High School. Si Ian po ay pangatlo sa 4 na anak. Sari-sari store owner ang kanyang amang si Zaldi na nagtatrabaho sa Riyadh at nagtatrabaho sa Riyadh bilang OFW ang kanyang ina na si Lorenza. Kapit lang makakauwi ka na. Malapit na ako matapos sa pag-aaral. Pangako po ni Ian. Mabuti po siyang anak. Araw-araw gumigising ng maaga si Ian upang magbenta ng school supplies sa mga estudyante at magulang na naglalakad papunta sa paaralang malapit sa kanila. Kilala si Ian na nagbibenta ng school supplies sa mga dumadaan sa aming tindahan, hindi droga, giit po ng kanyang ama. Masipag rin po siyang estudyante. Sabay-sabay tayong magtatapos ng high school. Hayag po ni Ian nang bumuo siya ng study group kasama ng kanyang mga kaklase. Si Ian ay masayahin at malambing, magaling sumayaw according sa kanyang barkada, mahilig sa flip-top at idol ang Filipino battle rapper na si Basilio. Higit sa lahat, si Ian po ay mapagmahal na kaibigan. Ramdam na ramdam ko po ang pagmamahal ng kanyang mga kaibigan nung nakasama ko sila kahapon sa burol ni Ian at ang ilan po sa kanila ay kasama natin ngayong hapong ito. Naglalaba ka na naman. Sabi ko sa'yo, maupo ka na lang eh. Lagi pong nasasabi ni Ian sa kanyang kaibigang si Erica at siya na po ang magtatapos ng labada ni Erica. Sabi naman ni Ian kay Leonard, ang kanyang best friend, pumasok ka na Gol, miss na kita. Awang-awa si Ian nung ako'y inopera. Kwento po ni Leonard. Wala siyang pambili ng pagkain pero binenta niya ang kanyang mga damit para makabili lang ng prutas para sa akin. Pinilit kong pumasok agad para kay Ian para makabawi ako sa kanya. Miss daw niya ako. Ramdam na ramdam ng mga kaibigan ni Ian ang kanyang pagmamahal. Mr. President, hangarin sana ni Ian na iahon ang kanyang pamilya mula sa kahirapan. Nangarap si Ian maging pulis. Ngunit sa kaduluduluhan, mga pulis rin po ang kumuha ng kanyang buhay. Isang tama ng bala sa likuran, 2 sa kanyang tenga, patunay, sabi sa kanyang autopsy, na binaril siya habang nakahandusay sa lupa. Ang sigaw po niya, sa kabila ng kahirapan sa buhay, laban lang. Ngunit Mr. President, hindi siya nanlaban. Hindi po siya nanlaban. Hindi po siya nanlaban, Mr. President. Noong Miyerkules, 16 ng Agosto, alas 8:24 ng gabi, pinatay po ng mga pulis si Kian Lloyd de los Santos na walang kalaban-laban sa ngalan po ng giyera kontra droga. Tama na po, may test po ako bukas. Narinig po ng mga testigo na sabi daw po ni Ian habang siya'y dinala patungo sa isang madilim na sulok sa looban ng Caloocan. Kung kinilala sana ng mga pulis na yon, ang Ian na kilala natin ngayon, ang Ian na gumigising ng maaga upang matulungan ang ama para magbenta ng school supplies. Ang Ian na tumutulong kay Erica tuwing Sabado sa kanyang gawaing bahay. Ang Ian na nagbenta ng damit para lang makabili ng prutas para sa kanyang kaibigang si Leonard na bagong opera. Ang iyan na may talento sa pagsayaw at pambato ng kanilang klase sa mga folk dancing competition. Ang iyan na nagsisikap makapagtapos ng pag-aaral at nangarap makapasok sa PNPA. Kung yun po sana ang nakilala nila at hindi ang isang sinasabi ho nilang drug addict o drug courier na sa tingin po ng iba ay hindi naman tao at walang karapatang mabuhay, siguro po buhay pa si Ian ngayon. Nangangarap at nagsisikap, nagpapasaya at tumutulong sa kanyang mga kaibigan at kapamilya. Mr. President, thousands of Filipinos have died in the name of this current drug war we have. Just last week, there have been 81 recorded killings. Collateral damage in previous months include children as young as 4 years old killed in the hands of those who have sworn to serve and protect. Kung wala pong CCTV footage, Ian's case would have been reduced to a statistic under the label of legitimate police operations. Ilan na po ba ang kailangan mamatay bago nating harapin ang isang napakasakit na katotohanan? Na ang ating pag-asa sa karahasan bilang pangunahing solusyon sa problema ng droga at iba pang problema ng ating bayan ay hindi magdudulot ng kabutihan sa ating bayan, bagkas magdudulot lang ng mas marami pang mga bangkay at mas marami pang mga pamilyang wasak at nagdurusa. There must be other ways, Mr. President. There has to be other solutions to our drug menace. Solutions through education, through a stronger justice system, through rehabilitation, through an upstanding and outstanding police force, through proper and legal enforcement procedures, through anti-poverty efforts and programs that provide jobs and livelihood. Solutions, Mr. President, na in fairness, itinataguyod natin sa Senado sa mga batas, polisiya at programa na sinusulong ng bawat isa sa atin dito. Ngayon po, na magkakaisa ang Senado sa paghahanap ng katarungan para kay Ian, huwag rin po nating kalimutan ang iba pang naging biktima ng collateral damage, mistaken identity at mga biktima ng extrajudicial killings. Mr. President, we need to put an end to these killings. We need to hold persons in positions of power and authority accountable to the Filipino people. Para po kay Kian, para po sa ating kabataan at para po sa ating bayan. Salamat po, Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Aquino.
Thank you, Mr. President. We'd like to I move to refer the privileged speech of Senator Bam Aquino to the Committee on Public Order and Dangerous Drugs.
Any objection? Hearing none, the motion to refer the said speech to the said committee is hereby approved.
Thank you, Mr. President. We'd like to
Senator
recognize...
Lacson is recognized.
Oh, Senator Lacson.
Thank you, Mr. President. Since a resolution about to be read, as agreed upon during the majority caucus, would be referred to the Public Order Committee, I would suggest, I would like to inform the members of this chamber that the committee has scheduled a committee hearing on Thursday at 2 p.m. That's for the information of everybody. Thank you, Mr. President.
To hear the resolution as well as all the other related speeches and other matters. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Senator Lacson.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I move to recognize as well the Honorable Senator Risa Ontiveros to give her privileged speech.
Senator Ontiveros is recognized to speak on a matter of public interest.
Salamat po, Mr. President at Mr. Majority Floor Leader. Mr. President, I rise on a point of personal and collective privilege. Alam na po natin lahat ang kwento ni Kian de los Santos. But maybe the facts bear repeating again. On August 19, at night, August 17, a 17-year-old was killed as part of last week's bloody rampage, in which more than 90 people in Bulacan, Caloocan, and Manila were felled by elements of the police force as part of the war on drugs. Kian de los Santos, a grade 11 student, would have been just part of the statistics had it not been for CCTV footage showing Kian being bodily carried by two men and eyewitness accounts saying that at no point did he try to shoot at those apprehending him. In fact, he was begging for his life. Tama na, may exam ako bukas, being his last words. Sa madaling salita, malinaw ang ebidensya na hindi siya nanlaban. His lifeless body was shown in fetal position, and in a later autopsy conducted by the Public Attorney's Office, it was found that he sustained 3 fatal wounds, one of which was identified to be a treacherous wound. My staff and I went to visit the wake of Kian to pay our respects. It was there that the family discussed with me their security and practical concerns and the legal steps that they plan to take. When my office took custody of the witnesses, it was in response to the request of these witnesses and their families, and even the family of Kian, to protect them from the threats that they had been receiving. Sa Senate hearing sa Huwebes, na sinabi ni Chairman Ping, titiyakin ko ang pagdalo ng mga testigo at ang hihilingin ko din sa aking mga kasama na sila'y protektahan ng maigi. The primary priority of my office is the protection of these witnesses and their testimony, and to do what we can from our end to secure justice for a 17-year-old boy felled by agents of the state. Yesterday, the President broke his silence on the Kian de los Santos issue by vowing that police officers behind the killing would be thrown into jail. In the same breath, he said that he cannot put so much pressure on the police and he cannot condemn them without validation. Naalala ko, Mr. President, ang pamagat ng paborito kong pelikula ni Lino Broca, Tinimbang Ka Ngunit Kulang. While we welcome the commitment of the President to allow the investigation of the policemen involved in the murder of Kian de los Santos, this cannot make us forget his other words that have inspired, abetted, and condoned the senseless killings in the name of the war on drugs. Paano pa niya sasabihin na bibigyan niya ng independyenteng investigasyon ang pagkamatay ni Kian pagkatapos iutos ng Pangulo ang reinstatement at hayaan ang promotion ni Police Superintendent Marvin Marcos na sinasabing nanguna sa extrajudicial killing ni Albuera Mayor Rolando Espinosa Sr.? Paano natin siya paniniwalaan pagkatapos ikatuwa ng Pangulo ang malaking bilang ng mga taong napaslang sa one-time, big-time operation ng PNP kung saan napaslang si Kian de los Santos at sinabi pa ng Malacanang na there is rhyme and reason in the police operations? Paano natin mahahanapan ng good faith ang kanyang pananalita kung noong Disyembre 2016 lang, sinabi ni Presidente na, pag walang baril, bigyan ng baril. Kung tama ang mga testigo, ganyan na ganyan ang ginawa kay Kian. The President's hands are stained with the blood of Kian and the blood of the 12,000 killed in the name of his bloody war on drugs. He inspired this culture of impunity and killing. He reveled in the deaths of drug addicts, while at the same time turning a blind eye to the big drug lords close to him and his family. And to all Filipinos who denied the existence of extrajudicial killings for whatever reason, maybe because of their support for the President, their disgust for drugs and crime, their belief that an iron fist is necessary for real change, maybe some reflection is in order. Baka dapat natin pagnilayan kung ano ang naging papel natin at nahantong tayo sa ganito. They were shocked at the death of Kian because they could not ignore the CCTV footage. They had no choice but to confront his death because his narrative was compelling. Mabait na bata, wala sa drug list, mag-e-exam sa susunod na araw. They felt stirred into action because they could no longer ignore the growing outrage from a country they had thought had grown callous to death. But Kian was not the first, that there were thousands of deaths before him, and that these were allowed to happen by denying EJKs is something we have to live with. But Kian can be the last, Mr. President, or one of the last. Maaari pa natin pigilan ang mga susunod na Kian o ang mga susunod na Danica Garcia, Angel Fernandez, Rowena Chamson. Para sa kanilang sinabing nanlaban, manlaban tayo, Mr. President. For them, we must keep on fighting. Marami pong salamat, Mr. President.
Majority Leader. Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I'd like to also move to refer the privileged speech of Senator Risa Ontiveros to the Committee on Public Order and Dangerous Drugs. I so move, Mr. President.
Is there any objection? Hearing none, motion is approved.
Senator President, I believe Senator Manny Pacquiao would also like to make a statement.
Senator Pacquiao
That's privileged
is
speech.
recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I would like to manifest that I am with you in condemning the abusive of the police resulting in excessive and unnecessary deaths in the conduct of the campaign against illegal drugs. I agree with you, Mr. President, that there should be a Senate inquiry on the PNP's responsibility and accountability on the conduct of the anti-drugs campaign. For the record, Mr. President, I fully support President Duterte's war on drugs, but I do not support the senseless killings na mga abusado mga pulis, Mr. President. Noong nakaraang linggo, marami ang namatay dahil sa malawakang anti-drug operations. Saludo po ako sa mga matitinong pulis. Yung mga matitinong kapulisan natin, lahat ng mga enforcers, ngunit galit naman tayo sa mga pulis na umaabuso sa kanilang kapangyarihan at pumapatay ng mga inosenteng mamamayan. Just like you, Mr. President, I condemn the brutal killing of Kian de los Santos. Kian was only grade 11. Kian was just 17 years old. That was a senseless killing of a minor. Even President Duterte said that if police murdered Kian de los Santos, siya mismo ang maghati doon sa kulungan o magpapakulong. At yan po ang panindigan ng ating Pangulo na nililinaw lang po niya na ini-instructionan yung mga pulis na gawin ang kanilang trabaho, pero hindi naman ini-instruction ng Pangulo na labagin nila yung batas at ilagay nila i-violate nila yung batas natin. Kaya sabi ng Pangulo na imbestigahan kung sino yung managot, siya mismo ang kung may pagkakamali o pag-aabuso itong mga nagawa ng mga pulis, siya mismo magpapakulong. Mr. President, I fully support the war on drugs, but not at the expense of the rule of law. It is our moral duty to uphold the principle of due process. So with this, Mr. President, I manifest my support to Senate Resolution number 471. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I'd like to also refer the privileged speech of Senator Manny Pacquiao to the Committee on Public Order and Dangerous Drugs. And with that, Mr.
If
President.
there's no objection,
Yes,
the speech is so referred.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I move that we act on the reference of business. So moved, Mr.
Any objection? Hearing none, motion is approved. Secretary, let's do the reference of business.
Messages from the House of Representatives. Letter from the House of Representatives informing the Senate that on 14 August 2017 it passed the following House bills in which it requests the concurrence of the Senate. 6084, declaring January 16 of every year a special non-working holiday in Navotas in commemoration of its founding anniversary.
Referred to the Committee on Local Government.
6024, recognizing the observance of July 25 of every year as the National Campus Press Freedom Day. 6065, renaming the Naval State University in the Municipality of Naval, Province of Biliran, as the Biliran Province State University, and removing the prohibition on the appointment of the university president and private sector representatives, amending for the purpose Republic Act number 9718, entitled An Act Converting the Naval Institute of Technology in the Municipality of Naval, Province of Biliran, into a state university to be known as the Naval State University, integrating therewith the Biliran National Agricultural College in the Municipality of Biliran and appropriating funds therefore. 6081, changing the name of Manlabang National High School in Manlabang, Caibiran, Biliran to Caibiran National High School.
To the Committee on Education, Arts and Culture.
3986, converting the Land Transportation Office located in Balayan, Batangas into a regular LTO District Office to be known as the LTO District Office of Balayan, Batangas. 5953, establishing a Land Transportation Office District Office in Sipalay, Negros Occidental.
To the Committees on Public Services and Finance.
5550, separating the Kamalog National High School Malagnat Extension in Malagnat, Pinokpok, Kalinga from the Kamalog National High School, converting it into an independent national high school to be known as Malagnat National High School. 6030, integrating the Cebu City Mountain Extension Campus as a satellite campus of the Cebu Technological University and appropriating funds therefore, amending for the purpose Republic Act number 9744, otherwise known as an act converting the Cebu State College of Science and Technology system in the city of Cebu and all its satellite campuses located in the province of Cebu into a state university to be known as the Cebu Technological University and appropriating funds therefore. 6031, mandating the integration of the Maasin City College into the Southern Leyte State University. 6099, separating the Mayor Bartolome Cerrot National Agricultural and Trade High School, Mosimot Annex in Mosimot, Cabugao, Apayao from the Mayor Bartolome Cerrot National Agricultural and Trade High School, converting it into an independent national high school to be known as Mosimot National High School. 6100, separating the Governor Benjamin Liguab Senior Memorial National High School, Sakpil Annex in Sakpil Corner, Apayao, from the Governor Benjamin Liguaid Senior Memorial National High School, converting it into an independent national high school to be known as Sakpil National High School. 6101, separating the Matagisi Comprehensive National High School, Kakalaggan Annex in Kakalaggan, Pudtol, Apayao from the Matagisi Comprehensive National High School, converting it into an independent national high school to be known as the Tawit National High School. 6103, separating the Corner Central National High School, Ginaang Annex in Ginaang Corner, Apaya from the Corner Central National High School, converting it into an independent national high school to be known as Ginaang National High School.
To the Committees on Education, Arts and Culture and Finance.
Letter from the House of Representatives informing the Senate that on 14 August 2017, it designated Representatives Panganiban Jr., Yap, Villanueva, Garin, Uaminal, Nograles, and Chavez as conferees to the Bicameral Conference Committee on the disagreeing provisions on House Bill number 5607 entitled An Act Strengthening Assistance to All Farmers by Providing Free Irrigation Service Fee and all other similar or related fees or charges, amending for the purpose certain provisions of Republic Act number 3601 as amended by Presidential Decree number 552 and Presidential Decree number 1702, otherwise known as the National Irrigation Administration Act, and Republic Act number 8435, otherwise known as the Agriculture and Fisheries Modernization Act of 1997, and appropriating funds therefore. 1465, an act providing free irrigation service to small farmers, revoking for the purpose the corporate status of the National Irrigation Administration, appropriating funds therefore and for other purposes.
To the Committee on Rules.
Resolution number 469. Resolution congratulating and commending the Philippine team for winning 52 medals and awards in the 2017 India International Mathematics Competition held in Lucknow, India. Senator Maria Lourdes Binay.
To the Committee on Rules.
Communications. Letter from the Government Service Insurance System providing the Senate a copy of its 2015 annual report.
To the Committee on Government Corporations and Public Enterprises.
Letter from the Office of the President of the Philippines recommending for favorable action by Congress on the condonation of interest and penalty charges incurred by the Philippine National Police Maritime Group for its unpaid electricity bills to the Philippine Ports Authority for the period August 1999 to September 2005 pursuant to Section 36, Paragraph 1 of Presidential Decree Number 1445 and Section 20, Paragraph 1, Chapter 4, Subtitle B, Title 1, Book 5 of Executive Order Number 292, Administrative Code of the Philippines of 1987.
To the Committee on Public Services.
Letter from the Palawan Council for Sustainable Development stopped submitting to the Senate its quarterly reports on financial and physical accomplishments on the utilization of Wildlife Management Fund and the report on the implementation of the Wildlife Management Fund special account in the General Fund of PCSDS for fiscal year 2016 and first quarter of fiscal year 2017 pursuant to General Appropriations Act of 2017, Republic Act Number 10924.
To the Committees on Finance and Environment and Natural Resources.
Letter from the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas submitting to the Senate the report on economic and financial developments in the Philippines, first quarter 2017, pursuant to Section 39, Paragraph A, Chapter 1, Article 5 of the new Central Bank Act, Republic Act Number 7653.
To the Committee on Banks, Financial Institutions, and Currencies.
Letter from the Office of the Undersecretary for Migrant Workers Affairs, submitting to the Senate the report to Congress on assistance to nationals for the period July to December 2016 in CD digital format, pursuant to Section 33 of Republic Act Number 8042, otherwise known as Migrant Workers and Overseas Filipinos Act of 1995 as amended by Republic Act 10022.
To the Committees on Labor, Employment, and Human Resources Development and Foreign Relations.
Letter from the Filipinas Asian Pearl Airways Inc. submitted to the Senate the audited financial statements for year ending 31 December 2016 and business permit for year 2017 in compliance with Republic Act Number 10901.
To the Committee on Public Services.
Letters from the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas transmitting to the Senate copies of the following certified and authenticated BSP issuances in compliance with Section 15, Paragraph A of Republic Act Number 7653, the new Central Bank Act, circular letter numbers CL-2017-045 and 046 dated 27 and 21 July 2017, memorandum number M-2017-023 dated 26 July 2017, and circular number 967 dated 27 July 2017.
To the Committee on Banks, Financial Institutions, and Currencies.
Committee reports. Committee report number 156 prepared and submitted jointly by the Committees on Women, Children, Family Relations, and Gender Equality, Civil Service, Government Reorganization and Professional Regulation, Labor, Employment, and Human Resources Development, and Justice and Human Rights on Senate Bill number 1558 with Senators Risa Hontiveros and Grace Poe as authors thereof, entitled An Act Defining and Penalizing Gender-Based Street and Public Spaces Harassment, expanding the definition of sexual harassment, and amending for this purpose Republic Act Number 7877, and for other purposes recommending its approval in substitution of Senate Bill numbers 1250, 1254, and 1326, Senator Risa Hontiveros.
To the calendar for ordinary business.
Additional preference of business.
Hindi pa. Committee report number...
Committee report number 157, prepared and submitted jointly by the Committees on Civil Service, Government Reorganization and Professional Regulation, and Finance on Senate Bill number 1559 with Senators Trillanes IV and Ligarda as authors thereof, entitled An Act Granting Hazard Pay to Covered Employees of the Government and Appropriating Funds, therefore recommending its approval in substitution of Senate Bill number 503, Senator Trillanes IV.
To the calendar for ordinary business.
Committee Report Number 158, prepared and submitted jointly by the Committees on Civil Service, Government Reorganization and Professional Regulation and Labor, Employment and Human Resources Development on Senate Bill Number 1560, with Senators Trillanes IV and Villanueva as authors thereof, entitled An Act Granting Disaster Service Volunteers Paid Leave During Period of Disasters, recommending its approval in substitution of Senate Bill Number 610, Senator Trillanes IV.
To the calendar for ordinary business.
Committee Report Number 159, prepared and submitted jointly by the Committees on Civil Service, Government Reorganization and Professional Regulation and Finance on Senate Bill Number 1561, with Senators Trillanes IV and Ligarda as authors thereof, entitled An Act Providing that all contractual and casual employees in the government service be paid corresponding wages during special public and local holidays, and appropriating funds, therefore recommending its approval in substitution of Senate Bill Number 494, Senator Trillanes IV.
To the calendar for ordinary business.
Committee Report Number 160, prepared and submitted jointly by the Committees on Civil Service, Government Reorganization and Professional Regulation and Finance on Senate Bill Number 1562, with Senators Trillanes IV and Ligarda as authors thereof, entitled An Act Granting Night Shift Differential Pay to the government employees, including those in government-owned or controlled corporations, and appropriating funds, therefore recommending its approval in substitution of Senate Bill Number 642, Senator Trillanes
To
IV.
the calendar for ordinary business.
Message of the President of the Philippines. Letter of President Rodrigo Roa Duterte dated 9 August 2017, submitting to the Senate's consideration and concurrence the Protocol of 1997 to amend the International Convention for the Prevention of Pollution from Ships, 1973, as modified by the Protocol of 1978 relating thereto, which was adopted on 26 September 1997.
Refer to the Committee on Foreign Relations.
Resolutions. Resolution number 470. A resolution directing the appropriate Senate committee to conduct an inquiry in aid of legislation on the frequent brownouts in the province of Palawan since January 2017 to the detriment of its economy, residents, visitors, and in relation thereto, the compliance of Palico with its duties and responsibilities under Republic Act Number 9136 and its related rules and regulations, and the performance of NEA as the regulator of electric cooperatives under Republic Act Number 10531, Senator Win Gatchalian.
To the Committee on Energy.
Resolution number 471, resolution expressing the sense of the Senate to condemn the killing of Kian Lloyd de los Santos and to direct the appropriate Senate committee to conduct an inquiry in aid of legislation to determine the accountability of the Philippine National Police in the conduct of the campaign against illegal drugs that may have resulted in unnecessary and unjustified deaths and or killings, introduced by Senators Pimentel III, Soto III, Recto, Angara, Binay, Ejercito, Escudero, Gatchalian, Gordon, Honasan II, Lacson, Ligarda, Pacquiao, Po, Villanueva, Villar, Suberi.
To the Committee on Public Order and Dangerous Drugs. Acting Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, with the permission of the body, I move to resume consideration of Senate Bill Number 1455 under Committee Report Number 138. I so move, Mr. President.
Any objection? Hearing none, motion is approved.
Mr. President, this is the measure on the Filipino Sign Language Act. Last week, Senator Bam Aquino and Senator Lauren Legarda have delivered their respective sponsorship speeches on this measure. However, Senator Nancy Binay likewise made reservations to deliver her co-sponsorship speech. With that, I'd like to move to recognize Senator Binay, Mr. President, to give their co-sponsorship speech.
Senator Binay is recognized.
Mr. President, I rise today to co-sponsor Senate Bill number 1455, or an act declaring the Filipino Sign Language as the national sign language of the Filipino deaf and the official sign language of government in all transactions involving the deaf, and mandating its use in schools, broadcast media, and workplaces. The state recognizes the rights, privileges, and freedoms of persons with disabilities, with the adoption of policies and programs that would develop their self-reliance and self-development, as well as promote their rehabilitation. This is in consonance with the United Nations Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities that promotes and protects the rights of PWDs and their full enjoyment of it. National and local state agencies shall uphold respect for their inherent dignity, individual autonomy, and independence by guaranteeing accessibility and eliminating all forms of discrimination in all public interactions and transactions, thereby ensuring their full and effective participation and inclusion in society. Part of these policies is ensuring that our fellow Filipinos who are hard of hearing or deaf are able to exercise their right to expression and opinion without prejudice to their condition. It is estimated that around 120,000 Filipinos are deaf, according to the national census done in the year 2000. The figures might have gone up in the past 17 years, Mr. President, and I fear that there are more and more PWDs who do not enjoy their rights. There is a need to identify and adopt standards that would guide the development and advancement, especially in communicating of the deaf and hard of hearing. The state should recognize and promote the use of sign languages embodying the specific cultural and linguistic identity of the Filipino deaf. The Filipino Sign Language shall be recognized, promoted, and supported as a medium of official communication in all transactions involving the deaf and as the language of instruction of deaf education without prejudice to the use of other forms of communication depending on individual choice or preference. With the passage of this bill, Mr. President, FSL will be used in all government transactions, most especially in the judiciary, in the health system, and in frontline offices that provide services to the deaf. Closer to home, qualified FSL interpreters should be provided in our Senate hearings, sessions, and other activities. There will be a national system of standards, accreditations, and procedures for FSL interpreting, as well as policies on the practice of interpreting as a profession. FSL will be the medium of instruction in deaf education, as well as part of the curriculum for deaf learners. Training materials in the education of the deaf will also be developed, and training for teachers will be undertaken. The KBP and the MTRCB, the deaf community, and other stakeholders to create a national system of standards, procedures, and accreditation for broadcast media interpreting in FSL. All videos published online, including those on social media, should also conform to Philippine Web accessibility standards. Appropriate steps to propagate sign language competency among hearing people will also be promoted. In the end, the passage of this bill, Mr. President, will free our fellow Filipinos who are deaf or hard of hearing from illiteracy, marginalization, and oppression, and make them partners in nation building. So I urge my colleagues, let us pass Senate Bill number 1455. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, to give time, may I ask for 1 minute suspension, Mr. President?
Session suspended.
Senator Cheese ba magbibigay? Wala? Senator Cheese, wala? Senator Cheese? Ay, pala ka siya. Ready to resume, Mr. President. You're next.
Session is resumed.
Thank you, Mr. President. To give time to our colleagues to study the proposed measure, I move to suspend consideration of Senate Bill number 1455 under Committee Report number 138. I so move, Mr.
Is there an objection? Hearing none, we suspend consideration.
Mr. President, with the permission of the body, I move to transfer from the calendar of ordinary business to the calendar of special order Senate Bill number 1558 under Committee Report number 156. I so move, Mr. President.
Is there any objection to the motion? Hearing none, motion is approved.
With the permission of the body, I move to consider Senate Bill number 1558 under Committee Report number 156. I so move, Mr. President.
Any objection? Hearing none, motion is approved.
May we ask, Mr. President, the Secretary to read the title of the measure? In case Senator Lisa.
Secretary, please.
Ano lang sponsorship?
An act defining and penalizing gender-based street and public spaces harassment, expanding the definition of sexual harassment, and amending for this purpose Republic Act number 7877 and for other purposes.
Mr. President, to sponsor the measure, may we ask the Chair of the Committee on Women, Children, Family Relations, and Gender Equality, Honorable Senator Risa Ontiveros, to be recognized to deliver her sponsorship speech.
Senator Ontiveros is recognized.
Salamat po, Mr. President and Majority Floor Leader. Safe Streets, Public Spaces, and Workplaces Bill. Hi, sexy! Wow, legs! Pahipo naman! Ang ganda mo, te! L ako sa'yo. Hoy, babae ka ba o bakla? Imagine, Mr. President, walking down the streets and alleys of the city and being subjected to catcalls of that sort and wolf whistles from jeering bystanders. Imagine feeling reduced to the sum of your body parts. Imagine being judged for the way you dress. And then imagine having to fear this every day of your life. Imagine never feeling safe in the public spaces of the city that you call your home. Mr. President, magandang hapon po. What I just described are the realities that confront women and LGBT every day in streets and public spaces. Street harassment and public spaces harassment remain to be a persistent problem of our time. An overwhelming 88% of women aged 18 to 24 years old experience sexual harassment in the streets, according to SWS in 2016. While wolf whistling and catcalling are the more common cases, other forms of sexual harassment include stalking, rubbing or touching, indecent gestures, exhibitionism, and public masturbation. The majority of these incidents take place on the streets and small alleys, but they've also been reported to happen in public vehicles, public washrooms, schools, and workplaces. Seeking to address this problem, the Committee on Women, Children, Family Relations, and Gender Equality wishes to sponsor on the floor Committee Report number 156, entitled Safe Streets, Public Spaces, and Workplaces Act. This committee report consolidates Senate Bill 1326, or an act penalizing gender-based streets and public spaces harassment, Senate Bill 1250, or the Anti-Sexual Harassment Act of 2016, and Senate Bill 1254, filed by Senator Grace Poe, otherwise known as an act to eliminate all forms of sexual harassment in workplaces, educational institutions, and public places. This substitute bill imposes penalties against unwanted comments, gestures, and actions forced on a person in a public place without her or his consent, and which are directed at the person because of his or her actual or perceived sex, gender, gender expression, or sexual orientation and identity. Specific acts include but are not limited to unwanted cursing, wolf whistling, catcalling, leering, sexist, homophobic, or transphobic slurs, persistent requests for someone's name, number, or destination after clear refusal, persistent telling of sexual jokes, use of sexual names, comments, and demands, following, flashing, public masturbation, groping, and stalking. Secondly, it also includes specific provisions for harassment in schools, harassment in public utility vehicles, and harassment in privately owned spaces that are open to the public, such as restaurants and malls. Moreover, it addresses an important gap in our existing sexual harassment law by penalizing peer-to-peer sexual harassment. This has been a long-sought amendment by women's rights advocates in recognition of the inherent power relations between the male and female genders that can lead to oppression and aggression even between individuals of similar rank in the workplace. Finally, the bills provide for awareness-raising programs and educational modules in order to propagate awareness of and vigilance against gender-based street and public spaces harassment. Mr. President, our women and our brothers and sisters in the LGBT community have a right to be protected in public spaces. Men and women should have the same opportunities to thrive within our cities and communities and to have an active public life. Men and women have the right to feel safe in our workplaces. This cannot be possible if we constantly feel under threat of what lurks in the shadows. Many countries have already recognized the pernicious problem of street and public spaces harassment. In fact, in Nicaragua, its street harassment law has generated so much awareness and consciousness that Nicaraguan women have been known to cry out "La ley," translated as the law, right on the street when confronted with an abuser. We needed our version of this law yesterday, Mr. President. Let's make our streets and public spaces safer for women. Let's make our schools and workplaces free from gender-based harassment and sexual violence. Let's make public recreation areas truly recreational and uplifting. Maraming salamat po.
Mr. President,
Senator Villanueva.
with the indulgence of our colleagues, and if it is okay with the distinguished sponsor, I would like to put on record that this representation would like to be co-author of this particular measure. I think this is very important. We have been fighting for this particular measure when we were still in the House of Representatives, and I think it's about time that we pass such measure. I think a lot of LGUs all over the country had passed ordinances which is similar to this particular measure, and the distinguished sponsor is correct in stating also in public areas. I have gotten so many complaints. For example, those who are riding public buses, when the driver or the conductor will show pornographic materials, Mr. President. So this is something that we should look into, and this representation would like to put on record that I am in full support with the distinguished sponsor. Thank you very much, Mr. President.
Maraming salamat po, Mr. President, and very gladly accepted, and I believe I speak for my sister and co-author, Senator Grace. Salamat po.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, to give time for our other senators to study the bill, I move to suspend consideration of Senate Bill number 1558 under Committee Report number 156. I so move, Mr. President.
Any objection? Hearing none, motion is approved.
Mr. President, may I ask for a 1-minute suspension?
Session is suspended. Pag pumunta, entertain. Meron akong... Meron akong notes ba?
Ready to resume, Mr. President?
Session is resumed.
Mr. President, I believe there's a second additional reference of business. I so moved it.
Any
Recognize the-
objection? Hearing none, motion is approved. Secretary, let us now do the second additional reference of business.
Second additional reference of business, resolutions. Resolution number 472, a resolution commending and congratulating the Filipino athletes who bagged 15 medals at the 29th Southeast Asian Games in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. Senator Emmanuel Manny Pacquiao.
Refer to the Committee on Rules.
473, resolution directing the appropriate Senate committees to conduct an inquiry in aid of legislation into the recent series of drug raids by the police and the direction of the administration's drug war, with the end in view of determining the possible accountability of police officers and other authorities involved, stopping police abuse and protecting the rights of our citizens, introduced by Senators Aquino IV, De Lima, Drilon, Monteveros, Pangilinan, and Trillanes IV.
To the Committee on Public Order and Dangerous Drugs. Majority
Mr.
Leader.
President. Mr. President, just a bit of housekeeping. Upon the request of Senator Angara and after getting the conformity of Senator Villanueva, the Chair of the Committee on Youth, with the consent of the body, may I move to transfer Senate Bill number 313 this is an act providing incentives for new graduates of colleges, universities, and accredited institutions offering tech voc courses, otherwise known as the Bill of Rights for New Graduates, to the Committee on Labor, Employment, and Human Resources Development, to the Committee on Youth. I so move, Mr. President.
So the new primary will be the youth?
Yes, Your Honor.
So
To
that is
move
the
transfer.
that is the motion. The affected bill is Senate Bill number 313, and the change would be the primary committee would now be the Committee on Youth. Any objection? Hearing none, motion is approved.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, with no other items on the agenda today, I move that we adjourn session until 3 o'clock in the afternoon of Wednesday, August 23, 2017. I
Is
so
there
move.
any objection? There being none, session is adjourned until 3 o'clock in the afternoon of Wednesday, August 23, 2017.
Thank you very much, Mr. President.